Venus Williams to play Alexandra Eala and top U.S. youngster in Auckland doubles event. Venus Williams will play the doubles event at the ASB Classic as well as returning as a singles star in Auckland. Williams was given a wild card for the ASB Classic, and it was followed up by the Australian Open, giving the tennis icon entry to the first Grand Slam of the year. The star returned to tennis sporadically during 2025, including Williams' return to the US Open in September. Williams' doubles partner for the ASB Classic has now been confirmed, and they will play Alexandra Eala and Iva Jovic in the first round. Venus Williams set for cross-generational match with Alexandra Eala. Williams will partner with Alina Svitolina at the ASB Classic, a star she has never played doubles with before. Svitolina is a former world number 3, having reached 3 Grand Slam semifinals between 2019 and 2023. The star has played just one tournament since the 2025 US Open, but she too will return at the ASB Classic in both singles and doubles. The pair will play the rising duo of Eala and Jovic, two young stars who made giant strides in their careers last season. Jovic won her first WTA title in Guadalajara, while Eala reached the final of the Eastbourne Open and cracked the top 50 for the first time. Eala and Jovic's joint age is just 38 years old, which is 7 years younger than Williams' current age. Venus Williams and Alexandra Eala's singles opponents revealed. The draw for the ASB Classic has been revealed, and Williams, Eala, Jovic, and Svitolina have now found out who they will face. Svitolina will be the number 1 seed at the tournament, and she will face world number 75 Varvara Gracheva in the opening round. Williams, meanwhile, has been given an exceptionally tricky test against former Australian Open semi-finalist Magda Linette in round 1. Eala has a similarly tough task in her opening round, as she has been drawn against former top 20 player Dana Vekic. Jovic, who arrives at the ASB Classic as the 3rd seed, will play an as yet unannounced qualifier in the first round. The Auckland air always carries a hint of reinvention. At the start of a tennis season, the city feels like a clean page, new draws, new partnerships, and new stories waiting to be written between the baselines. This year, one of those stories hums with rare creative tension. Venus Williams, a living monument of the sport, stepping onto the doubles court to face Alexandra Eala and a rising young American in an Auckland doubles event. It is not just a match. It is a conversation between generations. Venus Williams has never merely played tennis, she has expanded it. From the moment she arrived on tour, she stretched the sport's imagination, about power, about presence, about longevity. Even now, years after her first Grand Slam title, she walks onto court with the same unmistakable gravity. The serve still snaps. The wingspan still seems to claim more court than geometry allows. But perhaps most importantly, Venus carries history with her, battles won, barriers broken, and standards raised. Across the net stands Alexandra Eala, a player who represents a very different kind of promise. Young, fearless, and globally shaped, Eala is part of a generation that grew up watching highlights of Venus rather than full matches played live. For Eala, Venus is not just an opponent, she is a reference point, a reminder of what excellence can look like over decades rather than seasons. Doubles, in this context, becomes the perfect stage. Unlike singles, doubles forces dialogue. It demands awareness, creativity, compromise, and trust. The court shrinks, reflexes sharpen, and instincts matter as much as power. For a young player like Eala and her American partner, the doubles format offers opportunity, quick points, bold angles, and the chance to disrupt rhythm. For Venus, it offers something else, a chessboard where experience can still outmaneuver speed. When the match begins, the contrast is immediate. Venus moves with an economy that only years can teach. She doesn't rush, she anticipates. Every step seems pre-decided, as if the rally is unfolding according to a script she has already read. At the net, her presence is commanding. Racket up, shoulders squared, she dares the ball to pass her. Eala, by contrast, plays with visible curiosity. Her eyes are always searching, watching Venus's positioning, reading patterns, learning in real time. There is courage in that curiosity. She is not intimidated, she is engaged. When she steps into a return, There is no hesitation, only belief that this moment belongs to her as much as anyone else's. The young American alongside Eala brings another layer to the encounter. Representing the depth of the U.S. development system, she embodies the speed and athleticism of the modern game. Her movement is elastic, her reactions instant. Together, the two youngsters form a partnership built on energy and possibility, testing the court with sharp exchanges and quick switches at the net. What makes the match compelling is not who wins a particular point, but how those points are constructed. Venus doesn't chase every ball, she chooses her moments. She uses angles to open space, then closes it decisively. She communicates with subtle gestures, an open palm, a nod, showing how doubles can be played with quiet authority. For Eala, each rally feels like a lesson disguised as competition. A serve placed just out of reach. A volley taken early, before she expects it. A point ended not with force, but with placement. These are the moments that stay with young players long after the scoreboard is forgotten. The Auckland crowd senses it too. There is applause not only for winners, but for ideas, for a clever lob, a brave poach, a rally that stretches the imagination. Fans are witnessing more than a match. They are watching the sport speak to itself across time. In between points, Venus adjusts her strings, calm and composed. She has played in bigger stadiums, under brighter lights, with far more at stake. Yet there is something quietly meaningful about this setting. Facing players who represent the sport's future is, in its own way, a measure of legacy. It says, I am still here, and you are ready to arrive. Eala, meanwhile, carries herself with respect but not reverence. She smiles after a good exchange, nods toward her partner, and resets. This is how generations move forward, not by shrinking in the presence of greatness, but by meeting it head-on. As the match unfolds, momentum shifts back and forth. Experience claims some games, youth claims others. The net becomes a battlefield of reflexes and resolve. The baseline rallies stretch longer, testing patience and precision. Every hold of serve feels earned. And when it ends, regardless of the final score, the significance lingers. For Venus Williams, the Auckland doubles event is another chapter in a career defined by resilience and reinvention. She proves, once again, that her impact is not confined to trophies, but lives in moments like these, where her presence elevates the occasion. For Alexandra Eala and her American partner, the match is a milestone. Not because they played a legend, but because they belonged on the same court. They matched intensity, traded ideas, and learned at match speed what it means to compete at the highest level.